throws bombs on the House floor, do you then call him up and say, hey man, what's going on with this? What are you doing? That ain't right.
You know,
probably say it just like that.
The real truth, I have to give you a truthful answer on that, is I don't sit there glued to the TV watching him when he's
but you hear about it, though.
I do, but I'm much more likely to call somebody out, like in committee when we're doing a markup. And you know, we're talking about some of the folks who might be respectful, and of course they figured out a way to be elected so they're nice to their constituents. But I can tell you both the judiciary markup on hate crimes, and I've lived through several of them, and I sat front row in the Oversight and Government Reform Committee when they did the domestic partnership debate. And you hear some pretty harsh words. And you know, it's hard to keep your identity as a lesbian separate from your identity as a member of Congress. And when you hear people say things that are just over the top, you know, you have to pull, and so I think it is good to go and talk to them and sort of call them out on some of the over-the-top things that they do say.
You know, it's fun being on Rules Committee. We get all the members come up and testify whenever they have an amendment to get into a bill, and all the committee chairmen. So we have a lot of opportunity to do stuff. It was how, for instance, I got Chairman Skelton of Armed Services Committee to hold a colloquy on the floor with Patrick Murphy and I agreeing to hold hearings on any Don't Ask, Don't Tell, a topic that he would rather avoid and not really think about. But I have a real fun interchange with Representative King of Iowa, another one of these characters. Especially, one of my main issues is immigration, and he is not only anti-gay but anti-immigrant and anyway. But this was on LGBT. It was kind of a funny interchange. He, from this bizarre conservative mindset, it was some kind of housing bill, and he somehow thinks that of course, minorities get all the benefits of it and whites are discriminated against. So he was trying to do some kind of amendment that would prevent, you know, it kind of was couched in terms to prevent this, you know, favorite treatment based on race, gender, ethnicity. I think he put, you know, something, you know, there. But he didn't put sexual orientation in there. So when I got to say, I said, I just wanted to thank, I didn't ask him a question, I just wanted to thank Mr. King for continuing to allow preferential treatment based on sexual orientation. And then I yield back. He didn't know what to do, so that was fun.
That's great.
So, Tammy, your best friend on the Hill, aside from Jared?
Well, I'm very similar to Jared in that we came in with a class and you sort of bond with, it's kind of being like a freshman in high school or college. And I would account among my close friends, Jan Schakowsky, John Larson, our caucus chair. Those are a number of the people that I came in with who, you know, deep bonds.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to open it up to questions. We've got about 20, 25 minutes. And there's one roving mic, or how many roving mics, Dennis? 3 mics? 2 mics. Oh, great.
Well, we actually have about 10 minutes.
Oh, what? Okay, we have 10 minutes. So there's a question here. Megan.
Thank you, Jonathan. Representatives, thank you for the work that you do. The transgender community was there at Stonewall. Various forms of ANDA have been around for 35 years. We're told to wait. My community is the most marginalized. Suicide rate. How long can we hold on? That's my question. You're on the Ed Labor Committee.
Are you talking about ENDA?
ENDA.
Yeah, I think that I think we'll have the votes for an inclusive ENDA. That's what we have in there, and we will hopefully be, as we talked about, doing the markup in January, floor in February, then it'll go on to the Senate. So we have the votes to be able to do that. We've whipped it through the Equality Caucus, and we expect to be able to deliver on that.
Okay.
And can I just say, I know when we met in this conference a year ago, there were enormous challenges, and it was a very serious time in moving this issue forward. I just want to say that the work that the transgender community has done specifically since the last session of Congress to move members to, just by being there, being out, telling stories, has really, really helped. And so I want to thank you specifically for what you've done to sort of change the political foundation as we take on this debate this session.
Next question over here.
Hi, question over here. My name is Francisco Dueñas. I'm on the City Human Relations Commission for the City of Los Angeles. And I know that immigration equality is going to be coming up with a new LGBT for CIR campaign, which is LGBT for Comprehensive Immigration Reform. But I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about the Uniting American Families Act, the possibility of including it in comprehensive immigration reform. What does the gay community need to do, and what are the possibilities of getting something passed next year?
Yeah, I work closely with Representative Mike Honda on United American Families Act and including same-sex couples and giving them the right to immigrate. The politics of immigration reform, this is actually probably one of the, sure it's divisive, but probably one of the less divisive issues with regard to the whole package of comprehensive immigration reform. It's dwarfed by the issue of the 12 million undocumented and with regards to amnesty and any penalty they have to pay and what the pathway to citizenship looks like. That's the kind of 1,000-pound gorilla. We need to, the way this is going to work logistically is there is a House bill coming out soon. Representative Luis Gutierrez has been working on it for some time. That bill will not have the Mike Honda's UOFCA language in it, so we need to continue to lobby to address same-sex couples in it. But that bill is not the bill that's going to move either. So the real action is in the Senate on this one with Senator Schumer, who is trying to construct a bipartisan bill. And anything on immigration reform that actually passes will need to be bipartisan with Senator Lindsey Graham. And I would encourage everybody especially from New York, to talk to Senator Schumer's office. That's kind of the key place to focus right now. Do call into Representative Gutierrez's office if you're from Illinois as well. But we are continuing to fight these battles, and I'm very much at the table on all the discussions relating to immigration reform.
I would just add quickly, immigration goes through the House Judiciary Committee on which I sit, and while it's certainly at this point likely that the bill that will be introduced will not have the Uniting American Families Act in it, there's almost no chance that our committee markup will be completed without one of our members offering that as an amendment. And my read of the Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee is that that amendment would be adopted in committee, and we could at least be able to send it to the floor as an inclusive bill. So, you know, specifically, we don't have a timeline yet, we don't have a bill yet, but I think that there will still be some real House activity on this. Just
so you know, the politics and the groups that we're up against on that are the Catholic bishops, who are big supporters of immigration reform, but specifically oppose efforts to include same-sex families. So we will have to somehow navigate passing out of committee and maintaining support of Catholic bishops, which apparently have more influence in our caucus than we thought. We saw that in the healthcare debate recently. So that's kind of the politics that we are going to be navigating.
Where's